Tatiana, and good afternoon. I'll start by explaining my title. How to ditch your notes. For those of you that are English is your second language, I'm not using ditch in the meaning of a cut that you might drive your car into, driving your car into a ditch. I'm using it in the meanings of letting it go, getting rid of it. That's the context for ditch your notes. So I'm teaching a little more English. It'll help you blend in. It's not proper English, but that's okay. All right, I'm using the POD method. What does that mean? That means preparation, outline, and delivery. We'll cover these three things today. Now, preparation. What do you do for preparation? There's three things you need to do. You need to know your space. So here we are. In this room, we're here every day. But how many people think about it before they come up here, think about what they're going to do? I got here early. I moved all the chairs back. I wanted to make sure that I had space to move around and talk about things. That's knowing my space. Know your audience. So I had to pick a topic. We're all Toastmasters. What is it that you might want to listen to? You might want to know how to take it to the next level, how to ditch your notes. Be able to speak without having notes in front of you, without having a lectern in front of you, or what else. So the thing I think is most important is knowing your technology. The other reason I got here early this morning is because we've been having some technological issues in this group. And I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be so sure, in fact, that I could give this speech that I had a couple of backups. I came in with some whiteboard eraser, some new pens, because God forbid the government gets billions of my tax dollars. They don't usually put something out, and some wipes, so that I could wipe the board clean and really just have this up here and use it just in case. And just in case this PowerPoint didn't work. For our PowerPoints, we often struggle at the last minute, or we struggle when we come up. I have a pointing device. I can plug in the little pointer. Got everybody together, even got Chris set up on it, so his talk was a little bit more smooth. And how did I get my talk? I tried to give it to Tatiana, but she wasn't going to be here until the last minute. I put it on a flash drive, but I also put it on Google Drive, because anybody who signs into this computer can go into their account, we can get to Google, we get to a Google Drive, and you can download that presentation right away. So I think technology is really one of the keys to being able to do it. It saves embarrassment for me, for you, that time, that struggle that we go through as we get everything ready. And you can help everybody do it. Very, very important to be able to do it. And then getting to outlining your speech. I think this is another really important thing. One of the things that I've learned from this is these triads. Using these three things. I can usually remember three things. If you give me four, it's not going to happen. I can't do it. Three things that I put on the board, by the way. And then using triads within triads. So I used another little acronym. I used this, so I started with this POD method. POD, well, I might not remember really easily this preparation, outline, delivery, but I can think about a pod, and that helps connect the dots. And then in terms of preparation, I used SAP. Know your space, know your audience, know SAT. You know your, proving how well it works. Know your technology. I sat in the pod. Okay, I can remember this. Takes a little bit of time. And then keep it simple. As Arun has said, and as Chris also demonstrated, talking about his family, talking about traveling, have a simple message. Keep it simple, have it something that you know, and it's a lot easier to get through it without any notes. And then your delivery. Remember visual aids. Okay, so visual aids. I had a couple of things. I call this a visual aid even though it's not something you're going to see. This is my introduction. I put my introduction on EasySpeak. I printed my introduction out in very large font for Tatiana so that she could read it here. And then I put a little note at the bottom that said, please remove the lectern as you leave the stage. That way I don't have to deal with it and I can focus on getting my presentation up and having things move a little bit more smoothly. And because we've been having so much trouble, and I will also put my visual aids right here. Since we've been having so much trouble with technology, I just wasn't convinced this was going to work. So I brought a handout with an outline just in case, so that I knew you guys could get the message and get what I wanted to say. This will be recycled paper today. Use of the stage. Again, the preparation. I came in so that I had space and I knew I had that, and I would be able to use the space the way that I needed to, that I wouldn't be standing in front of the slides or doing something else. And then bringing it all together. We really bring together everything that we're learning, our voice, our body language, all of what we're doing, how we use our visual aids, and we put it together into a package. And that is such a critical thing. And so why is it that we need to do this? Why do we want to ditch our notes? Well, I know that when I'm standing here in front of the lectern and I'm reading to you and I'm telling you, okay, this is such a great story, I'm going to tell you all about this, that you don't get the same as what you get from me when I'm standing here and I'm giving you eye contact and I'm telling it a little bit more conversationally and I'm talking to you about what I want you to get from it. You get confidence in that I know what I'm talking about, and you get more connection with me, and it just is an overall better presentation and a better speech when you do that. So I would encourage you to take that next step. Arunas, you are there because you brought your notes up and you didn't look at them, so it's that you take those steps in leaps and bounds. And so just do it little by little, incrementally, and you'll all get there, as I will.
Well, first I have to say I feel like I've been called up from the minors to play in the World Series of a baseball game. Kylie, Arnie, I'm evaluating Monique. I don't know. Well, well, I will have to say that I really enjoyed the speech. It's always, I feel like that balance between you have to evaluate, but I just want to sit back and enjoy, and it was a very timely topic. I feel like the first thing I saw was that your PowerPoint, they were not too busy, they were not distracting, they went along perfectly with your speech. And you know, I always hear I see the PowerPoints where the person is apologizing for their PowerPoint, says, I know this is too much information, you can't read this. Yours were just right on spot, and I really enjoyed them. And I don't know if there were visual cues for you as well, but kudos for the PowerPoints. I thought your speech was very well connected. I mean, you told us what you were going to tell us, and I knew where we were going. I didn't feel like there were any off ramps and like, how did we get here? It was just, it flowed, and it was just a well organized, perfectly connected speech. So I really enjoyed that part of your speech. So on to things to improve, and I have to say, these are arguable. I feel like I'm looking for things to say, and probably I'll come back next week and be like, yeah, no, those are fine. So I went back and forth on these things. And one of the first things I was wondering, well, did you really need the PowerPoint? And I say that is to say that I don't think it took away. Having it was not a problem at all. But I think you could have gave your speech without it because it was so well connected, because you had your 3 points. In my mind, I was able to organize all those things without a PowerPoint. But having a PowerPoint did not hurt you at all. And then you also had it right here. I found myself looking at this board as well. So you had it a bunch of different places. And I felt like it's one of those things, if you didn't have it, you would have been just fine. And I don't think it would have took away anything at all. Another thing is the handouts. I maybe would appreciate getting the handout because it's one of those things, it's a very timely speech. Somebody for myself, I'm wondering about this topic. I'm going to have to spend like an hour on YouTube trying to figure it out. I think your handout could have been very valuable for some of the people in the room to take away. And then another thing is, and this is another point, I feel like you use the space really well, but at times I feel like you move slightly too much. And I mean, that's very nitpicky. I will say this. I think your movement was overall just really good, but there are times when maybe a little bit too much hand gesturing and a little bit maybe from side to side. And when I say slightly, it's just like when you get to that level where probably like a 0.1% improvement maybe, that would be is that movement. And so just to close, I just have to emphasize, I feel like how timely and how important this speech was. It literally is probably going to save me an hour tonight from looking on YouTube. Coming over here, I was thinking about how am I going to get away from using my notes? And your speech was right there. I think the organization and everything will be something that will stick with me. And so thank you.